anchor and executive editor of Special Report, Bret Baier. Happy New Year. Great to see you.
Harris.
Can we start with a primetime address? Bret, why do that, and what does the president need to say to the American public on the subject of the wall?
Well, listen, we're hearing that he's going to ask for time, and that's significant because you usually don't do that unless you have something important to say. Networks don't give the time unless they're told it's something of national importance. So it could be that he is going to declare the national emergency he's talked about to get the wall done. It could be that he's going to throw out some other compromise to Democrats. Harris, the timeline here is interesting because internally the next real deadline is Thursday night because the next paychecks go out are drafted on Friday. And that's really the paycheck that counts because they've been paid through the holidays, all the federal workers, and it comes to an end this week, at the end of the week. That's when the next paychecks go out. So look for some intensity, and I think you're seeing from the president asking for time, going to the border on Thursday, suggesting to put the pressure on that side.
And so December 28th, I think, was the last pay period, and so this Thursday is that pressure point. But, you know, I've been asking for the better part of an hour and a half now, is any of this about money? And would it be a big difference if we didn't actually have to go to the government and taxpayers for this money? We wouldn't be shutting anything down if there could be some deal struck with Mexico. A key component, according to the president, when he was negotiating for votes in 2016.
Right. It's not really about money. It's all about politics and about, you heard the congressman, who gets the W. And, you know, there are a lot of components to this ask from the administration about border security. I mean, there are judges, there are law enforcement personnel, there are humanitarian needs. I mean, there's a whole list of things that go beyond the wall. And when you have the Washington Post and others characterizing the border situation as a crisis, I think you've stepped it up to a different level. It's not a made-up thing. It's happening along the border.
Let's talk about the crisis if we can. You know, you remember just 3 or 4 summers ago during the Obama administration when we had north of 90,000 unaccompanied minors coming across our southern border. That was a crisis. We didn't see that president go to the border. How important is it? And I know that there's a battle going on over can we get the government open? But how important is it to know that members of his administration, including himself now, will visit the border?
Well, I think it's symbolic, Harris. It's going to be an image. It'll be, he obviously has put a ton of importance on it as a candidate, as president, has not backed away from it. However, there are deals to be made about how to get the security that you want along the border. And whether you call it steel slats or you call it a wall, the bottom line is that something has to change along the border, and something has to change, more importantly, on immigration policy, that there are several loopholes that could be fixed by Congress if they so chose. A lot different with a Democratic control of the House, and that's where the horse trading has to happen.
President Obama, and I only use this because it's the most recent example of executive order with regard to this issue that was, I mean, it was a huge newsmaker at the time and continues to be on DACA, executive fiat to get that for those dreamers. And that's part of the battle over the last year or so. Is there a certain risk that a president takes when he steps in with executive order, executive presentation here? Or is it just one of those things that's baked into executive powers?
There's a risk. I mean, it can get challenged and it can get overturned. And you've seen that. You've seen that with some of the president's actions early on. This president, President Obama, obviously, it was challenged and then was appealed. Now there's, you know, it's likely going to go on the DACA issue all the way to the Supreme Court. And you heard the president talking about that with reporters in the Rose Garden last week. I think they want some resolution to that because they believe that a deal can be made with Congress on that front. You mentioned it earlier. There was already a negotiation that really was close the last time when it came to Dreamers and it came to border security. But frankly, we are always one election away from solving the big issues. And Democrats, I think most people in this town, wanted the issue. And they wanted the issue on the election.
Wow. They got to get out of that town, talk to some real people every now and then, I guess. and really figure out what the issues are, because a lot of people are waiting to see what's going to happen. Some of them are not going to get their paychecks on Thursday, potentially. Primetime address, though, coming up from the president. And we have Brett Baer in the meantime each night at 6 p.m. Eastern for Special Report. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.